So, it's been a while since we had a albino rhino heart to heart. I came out and said some things that I didn't think I was going to say. I admitted to some things I didn't think I was going to admit to, and that was very therapeutic for me. I did say when I talked about it that I was worried about a backlash. I did lose some subscribers over it. I did get some trolling over it, and I knew that was going to happen, so I accept that. Why is this heart to heart happening? In all honesty, I talked about how I felt horrible for what I put my family through, and I think I finally self-destructed my relationship enough that I'm pretty sure that me and my wife are now done. I've self-destructed my relationship quite a bit over time. I mean, with my BPD and all the stuff I went through as a child, it was hard for Chrissy to put up with me at all. And the fact that she has this much, I'm amazed. I think I've accepted it. I think I've accepted that I'm probably going to be single soon. And I think I've accepted it because I'd rather my children have a good life without me than have a horrible life with me. And I think that's part of my self-destruction too, was I was trying to push her out because I didn't want my kids to go through the same thing I went through growing up. I wanted the chain to end. There was a lot of stuff that pushed me to it. As you guys have seen for a while now, I've been doing most of my reviews alone, and I'm fine with that. It just helped push. Well, it pushed me further and further into the depressed side of my BPD. Mostly because of the fact that I'm used to being surrounded by people. I always was until about 4 years ago, and then I just had the guys that did the reviews with me left, and then I just had the guys that wanted to mooch off me, and I got rid of them, and sadly the ones that didn't want to just mooch off me also were gone because my shift changed and things are different now. Like, I don't see Simon anymore except for on the odd occasion. Why? Because our shifts are different. I don't see Scott again. Our shifts are different. I don't see Paul. He's in school and all that. Like, all the guys that actually mattered to me, I don't see anymore, and all the guys that didn't matter to me, I don't see anymore. I think it was losing them both at the same time that hurt. And I think that was one of the steps in the wrong direction for me. In all honesty, it was one of the beginnings of a breaking point for me. I talked about my relationship with my mother a little bit in one of these heart-to-hearts. Well, my aunt came down to visit for my son's birthday, and that ended up spiraling into my dysfunctional, retarded family fighting some more, and putting all the fighting onto me. And I don't talk to my mother. I try not to, because every time I do, I get into a deeper, darker place than I was before. And I called my grandmother to talk to her. My mom was there, so my mom started talking to me, and things went back and forth. It was just stupid, and I said some things that I had to say. And then my aunt went home after her visit, and things were worse for her too, and I got phone calls and this and that. So, I mean, there was that as well. Lots of stress at work, lots of stress at home, relationship issues, self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues, self-worth issues in general. In all honesty, it doesn't sound that bad because I'm not going into the deepest, darkest parts of everything. And, I mean, I should just to open up, but again, I have, 2,300 people that might watch this and more people that might find it later on. I don't really want to open up completely unless I'm ready for it, and I don't think I'm ready for it yet. Once she and the kids leave, I'll probably be getting closer to that time. Just like the last two heart to hearts, I had to hit rock bottom before I actually opened up heart to heart with you guys. And that being said, I'm not quite at rock bottom yet. I'm just getting there. I don't even know why I'm making the video. I think just to talk, because I have no one to talk to. I have myself. I go to work. I can't even call in sick to work. I'm at -3 sick days. Once I hit -7, I'm fired. So I can't even call in sick to work ever, just to get a break. It doesn't make sense. It sounds like I'm whining, but again, I haven't hit rock bottom yet, so I don't want to go into the reasons why each different things happened, or how I felt about it, or what I did. I just wanted to basically talk. Just keep talking. You'll notice I'm not really looking at the camera because I don't want to. Basically self-medicating myself right now just by talking. Should I post this? Probably not. Will I post it? Most likely, because I'm stupid like that. You know, you make videos all the time, and you talk online all the time, and you go into a very public place all the time, and everybody usually thinks you're happy. And I think that is the scariest thing about it all, is the facade we can put on. People think you're normal. I mean, well, people thought I was weird and crazy, but different type of crazy. How many people actually can look at you and go, that guy has borderline personality disorder, or that girl's depressed, or that guy is schizophrenic, or you can't usually tell that right away. And I think it's scary that we can all put this facade on. I think it's scary how many of us actually have problems that we don't talk about, that we keep into ourselves. I think it's scary how fast things can slide. I mean, my slide was about 2 weeks. Basically, my big slide started like July 29th. It's now August 20th. And in that just over 3-week period, I went from thinking I was happy to losing the only good part of my life. Will she change her mind? Possibly she might, but I now know how she actually feels. And that makes me not want her here. Even if she does change her mind and wants to stay to keep our family together, I would rather she leave so that the family... I'd rather she leave so that my kids can have a better family, a better life, and so that they don't have to put up with things that she has to put up with and that other people have had to put up with. It's not their fault, it's mine, and they don't deserve it. And I deserve everything that comes to me because I didn't go and get medication, I didn't go to therapy, I did that stuff when I was younger, and it didn't do anything for me except for lower my self-worth even more. So I tried not to do it, and it's probably one of the... I don't even know where I'm going now. I don't. I went from being a 320-pound, built like a brick shithouse, strong man, wrestler, everything else, and having the time of my life, but still being just as broken inside, to being a 280-pound, basically worthless thing that's tried to make a go of it, and I'm sorry that I did the things I did. I'm sorry that I... You know, there's a lot of people that talk about the end, and I can't do that because I'm a coward. I am a coward. the things that happened to me in my childhood that made me the way I am now. Back then, I thought about that sort of stuff, and until I was probably like 25, I thought about that stuff almost daily. But again, I was a coward. Some people say that it's more cowardly to do that than to not do it. But when you've had lots of abuse, be it emotional, sexual, physical, when you have other such things that have happened to you, I'm not saying all those things happened to me. I'm just saying when you have traumas in your life, especially when you're younger, it's an easy thing to think about. It's an easy thing to think about. And for me, it was an easy thing to think about when I was told all the time how worthless I was, how much I had ruined my mother's life, how unaccepted I'll be as a handicapped person and as an albino. When I was beat by every one of her husbands, when I was emotionally and physically scarred by them all. Yeah, it was an easy thing to think of. It was an easy out. And the whole time I didn't know I could go to my father or my father's side, because that whole time my mother was telling me that my father's side wanted nothing to do with me because I was a genetic freak, that I wasn't something that they wanted to admit was there, just other such things like that. And it makes thoughts like that easy. But since I don't have a belief in something after, I'm a coward. Again, you can argue that it's more cowardly to do that and not face your problems, but here I am at 32, and I've tried to face my problems, and they still haunt me, and they've basically ruined my family life. And in that way, it was more cowardly of me to continue on than to not. I know people that are in their 50s that are still carrying baggage from their childhood. Yeah, it's easy for us all to say just get over it. It's easy for us all to say you're making a mountain out of an anthill. But I mean, when things come to happen, and it's happening to you at that time, there's a big difference between what's said and what will happen. I've said many times that I was going to fix everything, and I haven't been able to. I've said many times that I wanted to change, and I can change for a little bit, but then something will happen that will put me back on that dark path. Sometimes I wish I could have something that would just be easily fixed medicinally. BPD, not really something that they say they can fix with medication, which means I have to just try and eliminate my triggers, and there comes in the problem. I try to eliminate a lot of my triggers. I try not to speak to my mother ever. I try not to think about the things that happened in my childhood ever. And then somebody like my aunts or my cousins or this or that would be, you should talk to your mom. It's not... And I think that pisses me off the most when my grandmother or my aunt or somebody tells me I should call her and this and that. Oh, you shouldn't lock her out. You guys know exactly what the fuck she did. You know the exact thing she did to all three of us. And you bitch about that stuff and you badmouth her about it all the time, but you keep trying to make us make contact. Like, how fucking stupid is that? How fucking stupid is that? Anytime I go up to visit, I try to stay away too. And I get, well, why didn't you call your mom? Because I don't want to call my mom. You know why I don't want to call my mother. Well, you should. So then I'm getting it from their side, and then I'll call her, and then I'll get it from her side. And she isn't the only thing that is the reason I am the way I am, but she is a big part of it. Mostly because she was a big part of the emotional abuse, and her need for a man, and her need to find a man that needed her, which meant she would look for alcoholics and basically gutter trash. Her need for that opened me up to the physical abuse from them. And then there was all the abuse. Well, it was still just normal emotional trauma of your father doesn't want you, your father, and to find out when you're in your older years, in your 20s, right before you get married, that the only reason your dad hasn't seen you is so that his mother can still see you, because his whole side of the family was told if he comes near you, that whole side of the family's cut off. And then to see what she's done to your brothers, and to see what she still somehow is able to manipulate out of the family, when no one in the family wants anything to do with her anymore. And just growing up with that as your home life, and then being different in schools, and see, I don't like making these videos because it sounds like I had one person tell me it was a pity party, and it's not a pity party. I don't want pity. I want to talk. I want to talk and get stuff out in the open. And in the end, that's all we have, is the ability to talk. Usually I'm more articulate than this, so I apologize for that. I really can't bring myself to think very well right now. My mind is scattered. My mind is not there. I think reality has started to set in today on what my past has brought upon myself now, and what my reactions to my past have done, and what my reactions have caused to come into action. And I think with all of that weighing down on me as well, it makes me wonder what's next. What's next for me if my children leave? And is it fair if I want them to stay, knowing what I am and what I've done and what I could do and how I grew up, so what's still possible to happen? I mean, again, I want to end the cycle. I want to end the cycle that has been apparently in my family for generations. I want to end that cycle, and I don't know if I'm strong enough to end that cycle with them here. It may be the best to just let them go, and then the cycle still ends. Because my wife was a good woman, and she deserves better than what she has with me. My kids deserve better than what they have with me. The friends I had deserve better than what they had with me.